Hello, and welcome to another episode of No Highway Option, the cinema podcast that answers the one question that applies to every film ever made. Is it better or worse than Vin Diesel's 2005 seminal masterpiece, The Pacifier? I'm one of your hosts, Connor J. Burke, and I don't know, my favorite book of the Bible is Genesis, because it's like that Phil Collins band.
I'm your other host, Luke. I don't really Bible, but isn't Luke a thing? Luke is a Bible-y thing, right?
Yeah, he wrote a bunch of them.
I will say you took my thing. I was going to go with the book of Joshua because my name is Joshua, but I guess that's not an original thought anymore. So I guess I'll just go with Genesis because it's fun to say.
It's a good episode of Quantum Leap.
Sure. Our special guest this week, Joshuah Simpson, introduced themselves. And our movie today, given to us by Savannah, is Year One, the 2009 Harold Ramis, a kind of a Bible comedy?
It was much more of that than I expected.
Yeah, I thought it was just going to be funny cave joke, but...
No, she surprised you with layers and and references to Jesus. It was great.
Do either of you have a history with this, or...
I knew it existed. I never caught it before now.
No, I as a black person, I generally stray from Jack Black, but not for any reason. We don't generally all hate him. I don't know. He didn't really seem to be my thing. Anywho, no, I had never heard of this movie before it was sent to me by YouTube.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat with Luke. I knew it existed as like a freshman in high school. I was like, well, it has to be good, right? Maybe I should see it. And then I never did. And I'm kind of glad I did.
What? No, I think that I could have totally gotten away with murder if I would have known about this in high school. I would have been able to tell my parents, oh my God, I'm learning about Jesus. They would have loved it.
That's fair, though.
Yeah, that is a good point. So it starts out with a wild boar hunt, and Jack Black plays Zed, and he's a terrible hunter. Instead of spearing the boar, he spears Horatio Sands.
It was like, for a minute there, it was like Pig the Revenant.
Yeah, sure.
I've never experienced The Revenant, so I have no idea what that means, but like, sure.
I mean, I think Jack Black's performance was more engaging than Leo's in that, but
I've never seen it.
that is a hill I will die on. He got that award for pity because they were like, oh man, maybe we should have given it to him for Wolf of Wall Street. But
It was like a nice like little culmination moment. He had done so much. He'd been nominated so many times.
Yeah, and then so everyone hates Zed, and we also meet O, who's a gatherer, I think he's good at gathering.
I think he's supposed to conceptually be talented, and he's the reason that, they can move forward. He's supposedly smart. He comes up with ideas.
Yeah, they call him the smartest one a lot.
They kept trying to sell us on that.
Yeah, they keep calling him like, oh, he's the smartest one in the village. He's like this cool guy. He's this. And I'm like, he's kind of just Michael Cera being Michael Cera, which is unfortunate.
But it's early Michael Cera, so I really think that he was giving us his prime. I was thrilled by it, and the name I had to almost pause the movie. I was laughing so hard, and that was brilliant.
Yeah, he talks to his berries and is like, oh, this is my favorite one. You're a good berry.
But it is the 17th version I think he's played in his lifetime, so.
Yeah, I feel like this is around the time the anti-Michael Cera train starts rolling, which I'm not a part of. I like Michael Cera when he's doing stuff. He's a fun presence, usually.
Am I supposed to dislike Michael Cera? He seems like a frail man.
I've
known
him
to already fall over.
If you say Michael Cera to them, they're like, I hate him. He does one thing and he's the worst human being. And I'm like, no, that's
so good at that one thing. And that one thing is providing us with virgin representation, which is something we don't often get. So You know what? I think it's great. I think he's doing a great thing. He's the diverse option that nobody knew that they had.
He's like toast. That's how I feel about Michael Cera. Is he's there and it's happening, and you're not I don't know. I'm not personally mad at toast. It tastes all right. It's just you're never gonna be I only want just give me that toast. That's gonna make my day.
Toast
But
is
like, if you
good,
give
and
me like good like bread and like, so I believe Michael Cera is the rye bread of toast. I think he's coming here to try and fill you, and sometimes it works, and sometimes you're at a diner that it's just like that you shouldn't have gone to in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, it's not always on the toast.
yeah,
I'll give you that.
Yeah, and like when sometimes he's toast, and sometimes they like put something on the toast, like a good jam, and you're like, oh, this is slightly different toast now.
Is the jam the other people?
Or the
Jack Black
project
peanut
he's
butter
in, I
in this
guess.
movie?
It connected in my head. But speaking of other people in this movie, we get June Diane Raphael of How Did This Get Made fame as Maya, and Zed's crushing hard on her because, lady.
And she always comes in at the most. I feel like I could not have told you her name before this, but she always comes in the most random movies and the most random plots to do the most random things. And I really feel like she held her own here. I was really proud of her as her mother.
They're all jealous of Marlak, who's like the big hunter man.
I think he should have been Liv Schreiber.
He should have been Liev Schreiber.
Is he the one that immediately like just like tosses like the boar's head like onto somebody at like,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it wasn't even the first one that he had given them. Apparently he regularly is trying to give different colors of boar's heads because that's how you show, like the problem wasn't the fact that she didn't want the boar, but rather that the color didn't go with her outfit. You know what I mean?
He's the guy who, if they cast it today, it would have been Jason Momoa.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And he would have been better for it.
Yeah, he would have been a more fun character. But and so what's his name again? Marlak is also going after Maya, while O is crushing on Ema, played by Juno Temple, who I forgot her name every time she showed up.
Oh, I could not forget her name. I think the idea of not being Emma but Ema was a bold choice that deserved to be applauded. I love the random nod to pre-Australia. Like, it was beautiful. I think that they were trying to get at something that we just weren't ready for. I'm of the mind that this movie is just generally ahead of its time, that we weren't ready to talk about the Bible like this in 2009. But continue on.
I didn't realize that Ema was a joke, I guess, huh?
Oh, I took it as it was absolutely a nod to like an Australian accent. I didn't think, at least that's how I assume, because that's how I believe that Australians say Emma.
I couldn't get past her hair.
Oh, it never made sense. The wigs in this movie, brilliant across the board. Each and every single one of those wigs deserved a different award.
Jack Black's hair is super weird in this.
Oh, makes no sense. But Michael Cera's hair, oh my God, brilliant. Whoever looked like Julia Roberts, brilliant.
Kinda, yeah, I see it.
A young, pretty woman.
So Zed, being the protagonist of a comedy in the 2000s, is like, there's more to this life. We gotta have more. So he eats from the Adam and Eve tree, and
which makes them Adam and Steve.
Okay.
It was Adam and Steve.
It was a game film all along. I was right.
There's a good little exchange where he's eating the golden apples, and O is like, don't do that. And Zed says, I feel something. And O's like, what? He says, less hungry for one.
I thought that was brilliant.
That's a good joke.
The whole bit is that where the snake came in? Am I crazy?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought the whole bit with the snake was beautiful. Like I thought, and like just the just very clean riff on the Adam and Eve moment. I thought I enjoyed.
I thought it was wild that it just ended too.
That was
all of a sudden we cut out of it.
Yeah, so there's a snake that comes in and like starts constricting O, and the entire time Zed's like, I'm gonna think of something, I'm gonna do something, and then we just cut away to it. And cut away from it, and he's fine. He's just like, I defeated that snake somehow. My issue with this movie, like, every scene feels like just like weird improv. Just the entire movie feels like Jack Black and Michael Cera ran out onto a stage and they were like, all right, we're gonna improvise an entire movie for you. First, we need to find out what's something you wouldn't learn about in math class. And someone was like, smart caveman. They're like, all right, smart caveman, whole movie.
No, fully. I think it was a cast of people that like I could absolutely see feeling as though they were justified to just improv an entire script for the entire time, which And there were definitely times it worked.
Yeah. There's a moment later, I can't remember where it is. We're not there yet, but there is a clear spot where I felt like it was just they had filmed Jack Black doing it a bunch of different ways, and I thought I could almost see like this was the best take of Michael Cera not laughing that we had to use.
Right. It's weird. And like for all these improv things, there are 3 credited writers on it, but that's neither here nor there. So it goes to a big dance scene, everyone's celebrating. There is the biggest yikes of all time when we meet the shaman.
Yes. Bill Hader's not first, but Bill Hader's now done it twice, apparently. I had to look into it afterwards, so I was thrilled.
Bill Hader in some big ol' blackface.
So it was Bill Hader.
You couldn't tell?
Well, it was pretty sure.
It was Bill Hader. It was sad is that it's not the first instance of blackface that comes up when you look up Bill Hader blackface, because I had some questions afterwards.
That's true.
There was apparently it happened on SNL, and I was like, oh, so Billy Boy, I guess we're done. I guess Barry's done. Barry's been to boot camp. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sad that Barry's done.
for it's the next couple months.
This is just big, bad, not good. He has a weird reference to it when he's talking to Zed, because he says something about like the turtle came out of the ocean and the turtle has the world on its back. And I'm like, oh,
I don't think that's it. That's
Stephen King's whole thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's like a school of thought where it's like the world is on, the whole thing is like a turtle's back, and it's like stuff that predates your God line of thinking. It's like, I can't think of the name of them. Not the Titans, but something like the Titans from Hercules.
Yeah, the big lava and tornado monsters.
But not like that. Like Gaia, the goddess of the earth, and that kind of stuff.
Oh, so we're talking Captain Planet?
That's what I took it as anyway.
So Zed ate the forbidden fruit, and the tribe's like, hey, now that you did that, everything's gonna suck, so get out. And he has a very long thing of like, I'm gonna make my own tribe, and it's gonna be Muscle Amazing Tribe. And he eventually convinces O to go with him after burning down O's hut. But
like on accident, he wasn't it? He just kind of like trips and stumbles and falls like Jackson Blacks do.
The only shock of the burning down the village was that like it took so long to happen for me.
That's true. And there was, again, Bill Hader, not good in this movie, not good with everything. But he did have the one funny line of him screaming about the hut, and then he goes, oh, that's not my house. Okay.
That is good. We love giving him a line to try and redeem himself.
I mean, at least I feel like, I don't know, because there's like during the blooper reel, he's like trying out different voices for it, and at one point he goes like, I can't do this. Where's the director? I can't do this.
And I like really, really was hoping that like that was him trying to nod to that, but I wish that they would have just like kind of like almost given him just like one more like to like finish the bit and like openly acknowledge. And I guess like in 2009 we were at a different spot, and we got to try to acknowledge it as what it is, 2009. Obama was president. We thought anything was possible. But here we are. It's fine adjacent.
Fine adjacent.
Yeah, I can't
like that.
Can't say it's fine, but as a black person, that hurts my mouth. But as a person on the podcast, I guess we got to move forward. You know what I mean? I don't know why you let me be here.
There's a quick weird thing that never comes back into play of how O invented the water bottle, apparently.
Gourd man.
It's very quick.
It's a 1-second thing, but there's a cougar attack.
Unshown escape number 2.
Yep. Jack Black roasts some kind of food, and he's like, hey, what does this look like?
Oh, yes.
And I was just like, that's unnecessary.
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. And then is that what led into the scene with him and the lesbian lady?
That's in a bit. That's after.
My notes are incorrect. I'm trying to prove my point. I'm trying to prove I paid attention.
So they're O and Zed are arguing that the world will end. Like, if they go over the mountains, they reach the end of the world and fall off, and blah blah blah. But they find out there's more. There's more to the world. So they go down the mountains and, look around in the woods, and Jack Black eats poopy.
Oh, yeah. The poop scene. The poop scene. Of course, because you can't have a comedy without someone having some issue with poop. Step Brothers, poop. Year one, poop. That's it. Those are the end of the list.
That's the whole poop list.
Something happened in the late 2000s where they were like, hey, if you mold chocolate right, it might look like shit. Oh, that's gotta be everywhere. I don't know if this did.
Like, he got a Snickers out of the microwave. Like, it could not have been less disguised as anything else. Like, truly, no one cared and moved forward. But it was brilliant. I don't think anything about poop is never not funny.
I did like the apple line out of that, where he was like, "It looks like they ate apples," and Michael Cera was like, "That literally does not help us at all."
Did it look like they ate shit? Because it just looks like a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And then we meet the two characters that I think should have been the entire movie on their own.
Absolutely. The main man. Are we talking about Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd is Abel and David Cross is Cain.
I'm a homosexual. I like penis, and that means I like Paul Rudd. So when I saw him, I did have hot flashes and heat palpitations, and then I came back to and acknowledged the plot. But I do need to acknowledge that in the notes, I did just write Paul Rudd in really big letters with lots of D's, because that's what I wanted. All right, I'm able to move forward now. Thank you so much for going on that journey.
Agreed. I liked Paul Rudd also in a different way.
Paul Rudd's great. David Cross is great.
David Cross also was very, very good. It took me a minute to acknowledge that they were both Cain and also Abel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really wasn't acknowledging that Paul Rudd had the ability to be anything other than Paul Rudd. I screamed Ant-Man for a while. Sorry.
They're arguing the whole time, and eventually Cain, who's David Cross, bashes Abel with a rock and kills him. But then he just keeps coming back to life, and Cain keeps killing him again, and it's just funny.
The moment that I noticed that Paul Rudd was still breathing, I was like, "Oh, we have two more of these. Absolutely, they're coming." And then sure enough, he woke up two more times. I was like, "Thank God."
Went on so many times.
It was so funny.
So good. And it also brought on one of my favorite lines from Michael Cera, when Jack Black was like, "I don't know if I can trust this man." And Michael Cera was like, "I don't know why you would think that. Is it because he bludgeoned his brother?"
So Cain insists that they have dinner with him and his family, and you don't say no to an unstable man who just murdered his brother in front of you.
Of course not.
And so, we get some stuff with the family. We find out that Cain's brother Seth, who will lay with O, he fucked a sheep.
Do we say the horseplay joke? Because that might have been my favorite joke of the whole movie.
Oh, the horse. Yeah, that's good. You can talk about it. I didn't mention it.
He says, because there's a whole riff on... it's Cain it's Cain kills Abel, and then Cain is talking about he's just he's all tuckered out, he's just laying there, and they're like, "Yep, no, he looks very tired," and he was like, just I think it's Michael Cera says the horseplay thing, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, it's just some horseplay when two horses are playing and they kill each other.
Brilliant.
I wanted more of those lines in this.
I also love them riding on the experiencing the horse and buggy for the first time. I thought that was the funniest thing. Them just treating it like a roller coaster. Thought that was brilliant, and them obviously just vomiting because they had never experienced motion in such a way. So good.
That was too fast. That was way too fast.
I did expect to laugh less than I did. For sure.
Absolutely. I really wanted, because I'd looked at the rating online and I was like, okay, this is what I'm getting myself into. And then I got there and I was pleasantly surprised. Jack Black, 2 thumbs up.
There were some good jokes. There were jokes that got me. I think they were mostly in the beginning, with this Cain and Abel stuff. And then the rest
Not.
So what you're saying is that Paul Rudd made the movie. Great. I
Yeah.
get it.
Zed is told he can sleep with Kane's sister Lilith, and Lilith is a lesbian, and that's it.
Just the lack of acknowledgement of it. Like the joke like really looked like it was trying to maybe kind of sort of be something, or maybe I was trying to implement some sense of like a meaning onto this lesbian moment for Jack Black and like his learning curve. And I was like, oh no, I guess that's
You were too far ahead.
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of just like the joke is lesbians exist.
I think I literally wrote down lesbian question mark.
The next day, it's discovered. Abel's dead body is discovered. So Kane is like, "We gotta go. We gotta get out of here." There's a slow-moving cart chase, which is funny, and they're like, "Abel was God's favorite. Wouldn't God be mad?" And he's like, "Oh, it'll be fine." And then Kane gets struck by lightning in the forehead.
Like in the fucking forehead. Oh my god, I thought it was brilliant. It looked like the third eye person from Avatar. I loved it.
So
I was
they
just
head
glad
on-
the farting had stopped.
Again, pooping, farting, always funny.
Although
Always
Michael
good.
Cera saying "very good" to like a long string of farts, like that was also a good moment.
Brilliant.
So they go to a town and find out that their village friends are being sold as slaves. And Kane says he can help him out, but he sells Zed and O into slavery. And then people who I thought were Romans, but I guess are Sodomites, because it's the city of Sodom, intercept the slave caravan and take everyone except for Zed and O.
This was
And
where
this
it
is when-
was. This was where the Jack Black like riffing moment was when June said the thing about God is maybe a woman, and Jack Black was like, he started making all the faces and saying all the stuff. Like there was a split second of time where I wasn't sure if he had anything written down that he was supposed to react, but everyone around him didn't seem like they had it together.
Yeah.
Love that. Love Jack Black being able to just have a moment where everybody adores him.
There's one other moment where I feel like they were like, all right, Jack Black, we're just going to run the camera and you can do your thing, but I wrote that down. It'll come up. And so they meet Christopher Mintz-Plasse as Isaac and Hank Azaria as Abraham.
Hank Azaria can do no wrong.
Hank Azaria is basically just doing his Mo voice.
Absolutely. But I also just love that, like, of the stories of the Bible that you could choose, of course you have to pick the one where fucking Abraham is about to go and slaughter his child because God told him to. Like, brilliant.
Yeah, it's just like a funny, awkward little interaction. Just like,
Yeah.
what are you doing with that kid?
I also think this is the moment where like Jack Black introduces Michael Cera as O, son of Oo, and I did actively lose my mind there.
Yeah,
I thought that was the funniest joke of the movie. Oh, son of Oo? Who writes that stuff? Like, brilliant.
yeah, Abraham and Isaac's whole thing stops because Abraham's like, God told me to do this, and Jack Black and Michael Cera, Jack Black's like, well, we're messengers from God. Don't do it.
Yeah. The whole Abraham section I thought was gold as well.
It's very interesting. They mentioned that Sodom will be smited with a great fire, which I totally thought was going to be a whole thing that Zed was going to start it, because like he started a fire in his village, but don't happen. But this is when Abraham gets obsessed with circumcision.
Which is just brilliant.
Chef's
I just
kiss.
love Hank Azaria just like repeatedly saying the word circumcision and talking about foreskin. Like I thought it was so good.
Over.
I think that is one of those things that will always be funny, is like people hearing about circumcision for the first time and then being like just so blown aback by it, confused. Like that exchange that happens with Jack Black and Michael Cera where they're like, what part is the
Yeah.
too much of it? Like what is there?
How-
Do you have a skin that you don't want?
Yeah, how do you figure out what is tip?
Right.
And there's, we hear Isaac get circumcised. It's mostly just him screaming after Abraham being like, "Come here," and Zed and O go off to Sodom.
But they go with Isaac, right? Because I think this is where he says my favorite line of the movie.
Isaac joins them. They have to knock on doors to get in. So what does Isaac scream?
He says, "Hey, ladies, we don't got no foreskin." I wrote it down verbatim because I think it is so fucking funny. That's so good. Oh, God. And also, going back to this whole anti-Michael Cera thing, how are you going to hate Michael Cera and then not acknowledge, what's his real name? I don't know, McLovin, for being the same person all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's been playing also some variation of a virgin for the better part of 40 years. So, like, I don't know.
It is weird that, like, Christopher Mintz-Plasse was a package deal with Michael Cera after Superbad, but not Jonah Hill.
Yeah, Jonah Hill was the only one who managed to, like, get out of it.
Jonah, had his own trajectory that he was looking to go on. Michael Cera, and again, forgot his name. You keep saying it, and I'm just like, his name is McLovin in my mind. Like, the two of them, they continue to do, like, very similar comedies. But, Jonah Hill goes on to do Moneyball. And so, like, that's just different. That's a different road for me.
To be fair, Jonah Hill still has to do, like, The Sitter and get him to the Greek, but...
Absolutely, and even 21 Jump Street comes after, but, like, I would always forget which one's the musical.
Jump Streets are perfect cinema.
Sorry. Okay, sorry. Didn't mean to attack you and Channing Tatum.
I know a lot of people who really like swear by Get Him to the Greek, like they love it, and I never saw it.
I remember really liking it in high school when I saw it, but I haven't seen it since.
Because it's like the sequel, right, to Forgetting Sarah Marshall or whatever.
It's like a spin-off. Yeah, it's all Aldous Snow, the Russell Brand character.
It's playing the same character.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Who
when
knew?
We were all cool with Russell Brand being a thing. So yeah, they get captured by the same guards they ran away from. The one played by Vinnie Jones is about to shove a big stick up butts, but now Kane is one of their soldiers, and so he saves the day because Zed and O are like his brothers, and quote, "It's so nice to have brothers you don't want to kill."
Because it is in fact nice to have brothers you don't want to murder.
Kid attest.
Again, David Cross is just hitting like triples.
Oh yeah, absolutely, out of the park, doing a brilliant job across the board.
This might be one of my favorite outing of his, or at least new to the roster.
I would say movie wise, maybe. But then again, the only movies that I remember seeing him in are the Chipmunk ones.
God.
And it's a low bar.
No Chipmunk here.
Hey, the Alvin and the Chipmunk series deserves some fucking respect.
I can't go there with you.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. But
watch it. I still have to pick a movie here.
You didn't fight me on Jump Street, so I'm not going to fight you on it.
Thank you so much. I believe that all musical movies deserve respect.
So Zed and O join the Royal Guard of Sodom. There's a high priest that's doing prediction with entrails.
I think the high priest is like another big contender for people that really were trying to make the movie.
I thought he was like... I think they were trying to get Harvey Fierstein to sign on. They couldn't get him.
Absolutely. That would have been disgusting, dirty. Loved it. Oh my God.
Hearing him do all of this would have just made everything better.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm about to like go back through, rewatch, and just
do it in your head. Oh yeah, pour some more oil on me.
As you can see, the sheep had a large rectum.
Exactly.
The blood's making a little smiley face, so I guess a happy thing will happen. Oh, I want
That's
that.
Hair
like-
oil scene was just horrific. Like Michael Cera just patting oil onto this hairy chest. Oh my god! I thought about being straight for a second, but then I circle back. It was bold. It was a lot to ask of me.
And so after we meet the high priest and the ruler of Sodom and everybody, we go outside, and all of a sudden everybody bows down except for Zed because he's confused. And it turns out the princess something or other, played by Olivia Wilde, is here.
Anana.
Oh, I could not tell you how to
And
say that name.
my gut reaction of like everyone, I wrote everyone's bowing, and then I saw who it was, and I was like, oh, everyone has to bow down to the director of Booksmart. I get it. Completely makes sense.
Absolutely.
I'll take your word for it.
Can you believe she's married to Jason Sudeikis of all people?
Oh, I think about it often. Like,
Listen.
how did she get there? How did he deserve this? But like, she's just so stunning, so kind.
I love Jason Sudeikis.
Oh no, it's not an.
When you look at the two of them together, like,
It's a different.
Yeah,
it's
it's
Starsky and Hutch. You know what I mean?
it's not an anti-Jason Sudeikis take at all. It's just like, yeah, you look at Olivia Wilde and you're like, oh, she's married to Channing Tatum, I guess. And it's like, nah.
They're
Dude who
different
played,
seeds in the bracket.
Man in a jogging suit during What Up With That on SNL.
What up with that? So good.
Who has currently the best Joe Biden on the show?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I saw like they announced their new season date today, and someone was like, like you're gonna have to take even pot shots. Who's gonna play the crazy senile Joe Biden, huh? And I'm like, they already do that.
Like, someone new every week.
There.
Was that like you're just trying to get in your little jabby jab? Oh, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be all right. That's not gonna still keep being a democratic place.
It would be nice to have 4 years without Alec Baldwin.
We all want to dream.
I don't know if we're ever going to even have 1 year without Alec Baldwin again.
Yeah, and anyway, so now it's time to sacrifice a virgin into a fire so it can rain.
I love Michael Cera just immediately asking, male virgins also included in that?
Yeah, am I gonna be okay?
And I loved finding out like there were just like many more virgin reveals than I expected.
Yeah. The princess requests for Zed's presence, and O goes with them. We find out that the handmaiden that leads them to the princess has been Maya this whole time. Wow.
Brilliant.
But Zed and O get separated, and O goes with the palace eunuch, who's played by Kyle Gass, the other member of Tenacious D.
Ah, that's why he looked familiar.
Yeah.
I did not remember that that's where he was from.
Can't have Jack Black without him.
No. It's like having Adam Sandler without Rob Schneider. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Although, I don't know, I didn't see Rob in the trailer for Hubie Halloween.
Okay, don't yell.
They filmed some of that movie up here.
Oh, really?
I worked with some extras on a thing who talked about, apparently there's a diner scene of some kind that like the filming went on for hours and hours.
Huh. Neat. Hot behind the scenes take for you that they'll be like a week before the movie comes out. Does this drop? Or like the same week? I don't know. Anyway, so Maya leads Zed to an orgy, and there's music playing, and this is when I think they just let Jack Black be Jack Black, because he got his little scat singing in.
Absolutely.
It's in the contract.
Jack Black says in every single rider he's ever given anybody, he must do at least 8 bars of music in order for the movie to be done.
Yeah. I will charge you $3 million more unless I get in at least 6 shibbity-baboops.
I wonder if that holds up with Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, the remasters.
Is Jack Black in them?
Oh yeah, he had a cameo.
He plays Tony Hawk.
He plays what is it, like they have him in like a school campus security guard officer outfit, and he plays like Officer Dick. He's got
Oh,
like real long hair,
I heard you say
but he can
school,
do all
and
the
I
tricks
was
and
like,
stuff.
I heard you say school, and I was like, Dewey Finn is a character in this game?
Ah, I'd have bought him already.
Time for a special announcement.
Hey, Luke, what's some things you can do with a telephone?
If there was like a really mad goose in your house, you could hit the goose with the telephone.
Interesting. What are some more basic things you can do with a telephone?
You could do basic math, or find apps, or
Or you could call people that you like. You could call numbers that you know, or you could call in to your favorite Vin Diesel-based podcast. This one. We have a hotline now.
highway hotline,
I like
baby.
I like calling it the Highway Patrol tip line, because that makes it sound like it's not what it actually is. But, call us. Leave us a message. Talk about something you heard in an episode. If you want to offer a correction, if you want to be like, hey, I liked this episode, I didn't. If you want to just bother us, I don't know, man. This is a weird experiment that we're trying out.
We like hearing from you. You want to call in?
we
We
might-
roasted your favorite movie too hard. You want to complain about it? Call on in.
Yeah. Come on down. We might do special episodes every so often where we listen to the messages and talk about them. We might insert them at the end of episodes. Who knows? I don't.
Yeah. Maybe we'll
None of us do.
we'll do that thing where you can tattoo the audio line. We'll get it written down on a piece of paper, and then we'll feed that to a zoo animal.
Not at that point yet. It's not safe to go to zoos yet either.
You're right. Hey man, animals can't catch it.
I thought they could. I thought dogs could.
Oh, I thought dogs couldn't.
I don't know. I think I read mice could. Anyway,
This probably
let's
isn't
not
gonna
think
stay.
about that.
Yeah.
But let's think about the phone number, which is 301-941-7493. Or, if you like to think about words, that's 301-941-SIZE.
Size.
It's size because that's all Google Voice could give me when I wanted to find one that had a word in it.
It's because
wanted to
by
find one
doing
that
these
had-
phone calls, you could help us increase our listener size.
There you go. I wanted to see if I could get one with an area code that spelled out Vin, but that apparently does not exist.
Well,
Yeah.
have to fight
Give
with
us a
the
call.
phone, guys.
Give us a call. Let's see if this experiment works. Again, that's 301-941-7493 or 301-941-SIZE.
Give us a call.
Okay, bye. Something happens, I forget, as Jack Black is being led to the princess where he goes, awkward. And was that...
Oh, I think is that the moment with the I wrote down gender around this time, and I think that's when he thought that there was like a lady in front of them, and then it was some like dude with makeup, and he was like, "Oh, never seen one of those before," and I was like, the first ever trans person. Welcome. I see representation in 2009.
Yeah, that... Were the awkward jokes ever good? Like when someone would look at the camera and be like, "Ooh, awkward."
No, not once.
No, yeah, I don't think
The
ever.
only time person that's ever made awkward funny is Pauly D in Jersey Shores.
So we find out that O went off with the eunuch to get painted gold and become a statue. And both Maya and Ima are slaves at this orgy too. This is the one moment where I noticed, wow, for a movie set in the Middle East, this is white as hell.
Oh, absolutely. One of my favorite parts about their acknowledgement of the overall whiteness of the film in the Middle East was how many like then white slaves they had to have, and so then there were so many like slave jokes that could have never passed in any other movie because there would have probably been
Right.
black and it would have probably been a little more off color. But here we got to like to make what I feel could have been like a slight nod to like white people no longer talking about slavery. I think that they were trying to be progressive in the way that they talked about it. I thought Emma made some brilliant jokes about it.
It's possible.
I think at least some of this had to be on purpose. I don't want to give them everything, but I think that some of the stuff that they were doing is, like you said, ahead of its time.
There had to be something. We get, so Zed's like, okay, I'm gonna split up, stay there, he tells him to stay gold, which I was like, oh man, that's funny too. It has two meanings. And this is when the high priest, as you said earlier, demands Michael Cera rub oil all over his super hairy chest.
Tell a story on my nipples.
So long.
It goes on for too
Long.
much.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was perfect. It was disgusting, and I wish that it would have ended. But the fact that he had to like look Ema in the eye while he did it, brilliant. The obvious right choice, and of course, just the litany of things that came out of the high priestess's mouth, like brilliant.
I think also in the same way that Jack Black has the singing clause, Michael Cera has that in every script he has to have at least one quiet, like whispered "I love you" while someone walks away.
That probably tracks.
Naturally, this was the best spot to put one.
This is when the princess introduces Zed to the Holy of Holies, which he responds something about like, I want you to sit on my Holy of Holies. It's a room of instant death that the gods live in, but Zed can go in because he's chosen. But surprise, it's just a room. Wow.
And this was one of those times where Michael Cera and Jack Black both had like the same kind of scene, and this point goes to Michael Cera for funnier one while they were talking about the like room of instant death.
True.
Just the riffing of like, what are the logistics of this? How does this work? Like, and if people built it, do they? There's like they got 4 seconds to get out.
So O and Zed have an argument, like the usual third act friendship breaking up, almost the end of the movie argument. There's some fighting, something about virgins comes up, and Michael Cera says, I'm a virgin by choice, and Jack Black says, not your choice. And I just wrote, is the original incel. Thankfully, he went a different direction than most.
I think that is where Michael Cera is heading. He's been preparing us our whole lives to know that one day he was just going to play a series of incels.
Someday he's going to play a version of that character that's like older, and he's like taking a deep, serious dive on it. I feel like that's the trajectory. Give it 10 or 15 years.
He's gotten better, though.
But wait, are we talking about the argument in the dungeon, and we're not going to talk about the moment?
Not in the dungeon
Is
yet.
that where we're at? Oh, okay.
The dungeon
one?
comes up next after they leave the Holy of Holies and get arrested, thrown in. Then they're arguing in the dungeon. O is put upside down. So what happens?
Of course he has to pee in his own fucking mouth. And it wasn't even the mouth that got me. It's when it falls into his nose that I really just cried a little bit for him. Brilliant.
Yeah, the second he's like, oh no, I have to pee, I was like, it go on him face now.
Is it just me though, or did anybody else know that the rats didn't even look like they were real? It looked like they had CGI rats that they couldn't be bothered.
They looked really clean.
Yeah, something looked off.
And hairless, and I was like, this doesn't track. These are fake rats, and you are learning how to use them because it's 2009.
It's when Savannah said, look at those cute rats, that I was like, I think something's up.
We've already done one episode of Cute Rats. They're taken out of the dungeon and brought before the townspeople to be stoned. The eunuch throws one of his testicles at him.
It's just so good.
And they're like, no, wait, let's decide who can stone us. Let's choose this kid, and the kid's got an arm.
Yeah.
That was like, from what I remember, that was like the big trailer moment.
Of the
it was
kid
just
throwing a
him-
rock.
The kid throwing 3 rocks at Michael Cera before he was finally just like, "There's two of us here."
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys also notice that Jack Black in this scene just has one ripped nipple hole in his shirt, and that to like of unknown origin?
You know,
I did not notice that, but like also like Jack Black is a specific actor. I'm sure it had plenty of meaning, and you just missed it.
He needed the right amount of breeze.
it happened because of dungeon stuff.
Exactly.
And Zed brings up, because they didn't die in the Holy of Holies, they must be chosen by the gods. So instead of being stoned to death, they are forced to be slaves. And
With Paul Scheer.
yeah, Paul Scheer shows up. Maya's real life husband.
Yeah, him and his wife are a package deal.
Love that.
Cain, being Cain, rats out Maya and Ema as sacrificial virgins, and the king is like, hey, princess, stop trying to bring about social change. You are going to die as a sacrificial virgin too, because we need rain.
Like just sensible slaughterings all around.
Now, you guys are both more versed in Bible-y Bible stuff. How does the Sodom and Gomorrah thing work? Like, was there really it's like it was real bad, the town was real bad, and then it all burned to the ground or something?
They were like sin towns, and God was like, nope. And yeah, they were smited.
And that's like the whole story?
I think so.
There isn't like anybody goes in there, undercover God boss or anything?
Band was able to gather from straight church.
Was Sodom might have been the city where some dude went to it and like left, and then he turned around to look at it again just to be like, maybe, and he got turned into a pile of salt.
Oh, that sounds more right.
A pile of salt?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the pillar of salt story, but I don't know why that feels wrong that it's like Sodom. Now I'm gonna.
It might be a different city. I just remember, the only reason I remember is I read like a Christian comic strip as a kid, or like just like a doodle of it or something, where someone in Sunday school was like, and as he looked at the wicked city, he turned back to look at the wicked city, he turned into a pile of salt. So what is the lesson here, children? And the one kid was like, keep your eye on the road.
Yeah. That seems like too harsh of a lesson. Like, you can't even look over there, or
it's
you're
the Old
salt.
Testament.
That's wild. It is. It's a Genesis story. Sorry, I started looking it up, but it's about Lot's wife. Is the one that is the pillar of salt moment that you were talking about. I really became interested. I needed to know right now.
But yeah, there's the whole thing. I forget which comedian said it, but like Old Testament God was angry and vengeful, and then he chilled out when he had a kid.
Exactly. like most of us do.
Yeah, Maya gets drunk because she doesn't want to feel the sacrifice. Marlak helps Zed to try to save the ladies.
Right. Maya's bit with just like licking up all the booze from her body, like from her face, I thought was brilliant. Like it was just like just the perfect amount of time. Really had to work it in there.
And so
Emu
much
didn't get
happens,
any.
and a revolution begins. Big ol' revolution, fight the power, blah blah blah. Ema and O go into a corner and bang, so now neither of them can be sacrificed.
Which you absolutely knew. The moment that Michael Cera told you that he was a virgin, you knew that he was going to have to bang somebody in order to not die. He was going to reveal it at the wrong time, and it was going to come. It was perfect. It's just good writing.
O eventually douses the high priest with hot oil and is burned alive, and then after that happens, it rains for a second.
Which lets you know that the high priest was also a virgin. But my favorite part about the high priest dying was him falling into the pit and just saying, "Yes, Daddy."
Zed gives an "I'm not the chosen one" speech. You shouldn't believe in the chosen one, blah blah blah. And more rain comes.
And I think some parts of this are a soundstage, but some parts of it are some kind of outside thing.
Really good sets.
Yeah. but also they couldn't. I don't know whether they scheduled too far out. They couldn't get one single rainy day. But the sun never goes away, not even when it's fully raining later.
It's a movie. It's a rain machine. It's just how it works.
Yeah, well.
And also, haven't you ever seen a sun shower?
Yeah, the first one, believable sun shower. The second one, it's like, now you've learned the lesson. It's going to rain enough to water your crops, and that kind of rain doesn't come with the sun.
Well, anyway, now Olivia Wilde is the queen. There's a character that talks to the king a lot, and he, like, has a big thing, and he's dressed in all red, and he, like, moves his hands when he talks, and I don't know what he was supposed to be.
He wanted to be king, I guess?
Like, yeah, he looked like he was trying to be a Jafar parody, but it didn't fit.
Oh, sure. That random guy from Veep.
Yeah, exactly.
I liked that he just put the crown on top of the turban also. And then it just balanced right there.
Zed and Maya are together. Yay, they're going to Egypt. O and Ema are staying to lead the village. Oh, also, Zed and Ema are siblings.
Yeah.
Missed that the entire movie until the very end, and I was like, oh, sure.
They don't interact.
Like, at all, right? Like, it felt like the entire time they just, like, kept, like, being in the same room without using words. You would think that he was putting forth more effort to save specifically his sister, but instead it was kind of like, I guess, Maya.
Because I don't think she needed to be his sister. I think it was that one throwaway incest joke in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then the one throwaway joke at the end.
Yeah, I think that was an improvised line, and they were like, oh, I guess this is the whole thing now. Like, you don't even get a single, like, hey, sis. Like, that's all you needed.
Like, I felt like there was only ever reference them being siblings, but never even actual lines between the two of them.
Right.
Yeah, so O is staying to lead the village, Zen and Maya are going to Egypt, so they, have a manly bro hug goodbye.
Brothers gotta hug.
Brothers don't shake hands.
But but speaking of the sibling moment, the line that they have as they're walking away, where he's just like, yeah, make babies, my brother. And with my brother, with my sister, and he's just like, couldn't stop me if you try. It's so good. Michael Cera, I really think he killed it in this movie.
He killed it where it stood.
Yeah, and that's the movie. Then it's over.
It was great. It was a whole beautiful hour and a half. Wraps it up real nice.
So you guys got the credits bloopers? Like on your watch, you got to watch through them?
Yeah. Did you know?
Because no, the movie ended and the credits started, and a 12-second countdown started that I couldn't get out of, and Twilight just started.
Oh yeah, no, I got the countdown, but I clicked over to hide.
Yeah, it didn't give me the option on the PS4 version.
I messaged you guys on Facebook that I have maybe the dumbest take about this movie that I realized as I was driving home from work. So this is a story of, a slightly shorter, rounder fellow and a slightly lanky, skinny fellow. One's a bit smarter, one's a bit more erratic and goofy, walking around and meeting famous biblical characters, teaching a moral at the end. This is the live-action VeggieTales remake that we've all been asking for.
Absolutely! Oh my god! That's so good. At the very end, I caught where you were going with it. I went on that train, and I'm thrilled about it. I think bring me Bob and Larry any day.
I'm glad you guys could do that together. I have no functional VeggieTales experience.
And you're sadder for it, Luke, aren't you?
Yeah, honestly. How can someone not grow up with the Where's My Hairbrush
I wish
song?
that they would have just... Silly songs with Larry made me the homo that I am today. Thank you so much.
All right, so we want to move on to this criteria that we do every week.
Yes.
To figure out specifically if this film is better or worse than The Pacifier. So first up, how is the soundtrack to the film?
Yeah, I was gonna say it is ultimately a very forgettable soundtrack. I tried to every now and again come back, make a note of it, and I swear every time that I tried to really tune in, there was no music or it was a light playing in the background. Like it was very minimal, very.
It's pretty bland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It worked, I guess.
It's not actively bad, it's just forgettable.
Yeah.
Next up, where does the main actor in this land on the Dieselometer? A rating based on charm and ability. Would we say the lead was Jack Black?
Lead is Jack Black, but the problem is that the secondary lead really gave me Vin Diesel-like charm. So you know what I mean? Like I think that Michael Cera really came in here swinging really, really hard. And if I'm here to argue and tell you that I think that Year One, as the movie I was assigned, was better, then I'm gonna have to say that Michael Cera deserves a better nod, as Jack Black did not do it for me.
All right.
That's my argument.
I believe it.
I think that Michael Cera really came here to play some games, to say some stuff. I think he truly, from top to bottom, gave us charm and zeal. I think this is his best virgin performance. He was giving us lots of good one-liners when I didn't expect him to. Jack Black, however, I thought that this was just like, a very Jack Black performance. I think he's done better, and hopefully we'll do again soon.
I think you can make the case to go either way
That's true.
with your lead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and also just the idea, just the name, even just the child of ooh. Like I need to come back to that as my main argument. Like it's the most brilliant thing I think I've heard in a movie in all of quarantine. Oh, child of ooh.
I went the opposite way. Jack Black was my lead. But I feel like the obvious Vin Diesel choice is like Babylon AD. But doing this show has made me do like a lot more Vin Diesel research than I ever thought I was going to be doing in my life. And as such, I have some stuff here that you're going to have to listen to now. So a lot of people are trying to like figure out, you look at Vin Diesel's films, they don't necessarily follow the regular sort of way that things go. He's sort of an oddball, the different things that he does. And a lot of times when you look at filmmakers, you're trying to figure out, what makes them tick, what makes them make movies the way that they do. And a big thing that when he's interviewed a lot, that he talks about is the thing that drives him from a filmmaking perspective is his lifetime experience playing D&D.
Okay.
There's a really cool 538 article that takes all of his films and they break them into 4 categories, and they're all it's a stat. It's there's the charisma section, the wisdom section, the dexterity, and the strength. And I'm not a D&D player myself, but thinking of that in this lens, I can see very much how you could look at this series of events of this film and see them as a campaign and see Jack Black very much sort of wiggling his way through the different events, like almost rolling dice to decide what they do next.
All right. Well, I'm going to piggyback off that answer because I didn't have anything. So I'm going to say that his performance was similar to Vin Diesel's in The Last Witch Hunter, which was the movie that Vin Diesel made based off his long-running D&D campaign. He went to a studio and was like,
I have a campaign, give me money.
Also, when you were talking about like what drives Vin, I thought you were going to mention the thing where he doesn't take his shirt off unless it is a Vin Diesel starring movie. If he's a supporting character, the shirt stays on, but if it's off, it's a Vin Diesel movie.
Right.
That's brilliant. That's the way to do it. If you want him to do your work, to do your bidding, to show up as you want Vin Diesel to show up, then he's, here to only show it to you on his terms. It makes sense.
Next up, did I like this as a kid, or would I have liked it as a kid? I would say probably as a teenager was like the only time this would have applied to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think as a teenager, I absolutely would have been about this. As a teenager who really tried their best to grow up as straight as they possibly could, I flocked to this genre, to like a specifically like just like I call it straight white man comedy, like a Seth Rogen, a Jack Black. You know what I mean? So I would have absolutely fawned over this, and would have really hoped that they would have done a little bit more with the gay subplots that are always lurking around. But definitely would have loved it, especially with as we talked about, all the wonderful Christian references that I could have used to get my parents on board.
Yeah, I think I liked it now. I think that as a teen, I would have liked it more than I did now. I would have laughed harder at most of the jokes.
Absolutely. I think that the poop joke would have been the funniest thing I've ever seen. I would have even believed that it was actual poop.
What has the director gone on to do? This was unfortunately the last movie directed by Harold Ramis before his death in 2014. But before this, he did like Caddyshack, National Lampoon's Vacation, Groundhog Day, Bedazzled, stuff like that.
He worked on all the Ghostbusters except for the most recent one.
Mm-hmm.
I think he even like had some like actual hand in the most recent one before he like had passed. I think that there was like things of his that had been like dibble dabbled in there.
I know there's like a statue of his head in the 2016 one.
Sure, I saw it once while wildly intoxicated, so I couldn't.
Yeah, I apparently own it, but it's one of those things I like. It was like connect your like this account to your iTunes account, and I did that, and it was like, cool, here's Ghostbusters 2016 for free, and I'm like, okay, what?
I guess.
Love that.
It was like that and Jason Bourne.
But he does do a lot of things. He also like wrote a couple episodes or directed a couple episodes of The Office, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So he had, which according to Tinder and Bumble is the most famous show of all time. So apparently he has lots of clout.
He was a very big comedy guy, and it was very sad when he passed away. I'm kind of sad that this is the last movie he did, but
just because I feel like I would have loved for him to end on a higher note. But I guess
exactly.
I guess a eunuch throwing their balls is a great one to end on.
Is there anything as memorable for you in this as the Peter Panda dance from the pacifier?
So I had a couple thoughts here. Here are my pitches. I think the circumcision moments with Hank and McLovin were to me, I thought was the brilliant reoccurring gag. And McLovin's like final line of just, hey ladies, where do we ain't got no foreskin, really just like cinches it for me. I think that lands to be as ridiculous as the Peter the Panda scene, but my backup options was the hair oil moment, in case you did not feel as though those two were up to snuff, or the first one was up to
Part where Michael Cera shows his palms and they just have big hairballs on them.
Just tragic.
I said the part where Paul Rudd keeps coming back to life.
I was split between just Kane as an entity and the foreskin stuff.
I really did think about like including Paul Rudd, but I thought I was being biased, so thank you.
No, that was just a good part. Speaking of which, who is the Brad Garrett, Carol Kane insane side character of the film? David Cross's Kane.
Absolutely. The two of them really came through. And I think the High Priest definitely deserves like some sort of recognition. Like I think he put in some good work for us.
Yeah. I had Paul Rudd or Discount Harvey Fierstein, but I'd also like to submit Hank Azaria for your approval.
Yeah. I mean, he's doing most is like screaming foreskin.
He definitely, I don't think, has ever earned anybody a like failing grade. Hank Azaria always shows up and does good work.
Next up, is there anything as batshit insane as the Sound of Music subplot from the pacifier, which, in case you don't remember, comes in about with 20 minutes left in the movie. It's only 2 scenes long. One of the boys Vin Diesel is watching, named Seth, is discovered at school with a Nazi armband in his locker and bleached hair. Everyone thinks he's a Nazi, and Vin Diesel follows him to discover No, he's actually just playing Rolf in a community theater production of The Sound of Music with like a 40-year-old Liesel. I said how white this thing is.
Sorry, that took me out. Thank you so much. Because there are only black extras in this film, so I was gonna also tag on to that. Thank you. I do agree that the whiteness and the white slaves really, I think, were rather ridiculous. But again, final pitch, I guess, I was going to reintroduce the possibility of like not just the hair oil scene, but again referencing "Yes, Daddy" as you die of having oil just chucked at you.
I'll give you guys the pasty complexion of the film, but I said the fact that this scary movie does the Bible flick flew right under the radar. You know.
That is such a good way to describe it. Scary movie does the Bible.
Jesus movie. All right. And finally, Luke, do you have a rating and a ranking for this?
Yeah, I said 1 sack of petrified balls and a pitcher of oil. And it's not better than The Pacifier, but like it's a solid B comedy.
I said I gave it 2 thrown testicles out of 9. Wasn't huge on it and not as good as Pacifier, but the talking about it with people made me realize like there are some moments that I did enjoy more than I initially thought.
I thank you so much for setting the grounds of this rating system. I'm totally on it. I'm gonna give it a solid 8 Snickers fake poop Snicker bars out of 10. I was wildly surprised. I did also watch the 2 of them back to back yesterday. Really trying to be a good student and be prepared today. And I will say, I think I laughed more at year 1. If I'm being honest, I think the Pacifier has more emotional moments to offer me. You know, you can get a tear from me any day. But ultimately I laughed more at year 1, so I will have to give it a higher rating at this time.
All right. Well, that has been our talk on year 1, and now to find out what we're watching next week, Josh has picked the movie for us, and they're going to give us some hints. It's time to play the Coming Attractions game, so take it away, Josh.
Okay. So I have coined this movie as the most diverse film of all time incorrectly. As my first hint, but it is a Disney film. Might have even appeared first on Disney Channel. We would have been in elementary school when this film came out specifically. It has recently come up as a film featuring a very quiet trans woman we didn't know about. It also has a young black gay woman in it before she came out. I won't name her because I think that'll give it away. I'm gonna just keep going. I have all the facts about this film. This film went on to have, this is the first of a 3-part trilogy on Disney.
Can I ask a question about it?
Yes.
Were any of these films released in theaters? Maybe
No.
Can I ask?
No, I know what you're thinking, but no, the third one was not released in theaters.
Oh.
Yes, you can ask Luke.
Has the lead of this film, up until I think recently, had purple hair?
Purple hair?
Like a faded purple, twinging on gray, sort of.
Like, would she have had the purple in the movie, or are you saying that in her personal life?
No, like as a later, more closer right now.
I could see this having happened. I cannot confirm that is a fact.
Has the lead of this film been on a famous morning talk show
for
Yes.
a length of time?
Yes.
And she had her own sitcom?
Yes.
Okay. So
and it's the first one?
Yes, it is, baby.
It's the Cheetah Girls?
What else would it be? I'm a homosexual.
All right.
I thought of something responsible like Tu Wong Fu, and then I was like, no, I'm going to pick my favorite movie of all time.
All right. Well, tune in next week to hear us chat about the Cheetah Girls. Josh, do you have anything you want to plug?
Let me think. I'm on an album that is going to be released in 2 weeks from today, I believe. I want to say, the 21st, I think. No, so that's 11 days from today. But yeah, it will be available on all streaming devices, as I've been told. And I have a virtual performance coming up in a couple weeks. So if you want to follow me at Joshua D. Simpson on all platforms, JOSHUAHDSIMPSON.
So by the time this drops, that album will be out, and we'll be able to plug it right on there.
And
yeah,
thank you.
I think that should be the truth.
And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And for us, as usual, you can like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at No Highway Pod. Follow our YouTube channel, and starting a little experiment. You can call into the Highway Patrol tip line. It's a phone number where you can leave a message about something you heard in an episode, question you have. I don't know, it's some kind of experiment. That's 301-941-7493, or if you will, 301-941-SIZE. Because I wanted one that had a word, and the only one that made a word was size.
You could call in. You could let us know through a voicemail how to get in touch with the people who used to own Rafters Bar and Grill in Amherst, so I could find out a way to get the recipe to the Yukon Gold Sauce for the chicken. That'd be a great thing to leave us a message about.
And I would like a job, please. Okay, so tune in next week for the CHEETAH Girls. And thank you so much to Ian C. Weber for composing our theme song. Luke, do you know what the C stands for, or do you think I do?
C stands for Coney Island.
For Coney Island. Follow the link in our description to hear all of his stuff. And yeah, so for No Highway Option, I've been Connor.
I've been Luke.
And as always, these have been our opinions. And if you did not agree with them, well, that's too bad, because it's our way. No highway option.